Welcome to the Sportsman's Voice Roundup, your weekly look at conservation and sporting community news happening across the nation and on the Hill. Thanks for tuning in. This is the TSV Roundup. Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen, to this weekly edition of the Sportsman's Voice Roundup, your weekly look at conservation news from across the nation for the week of June 22nd, 2026. Our lead story this week, we have some good news out of Massachusetts as the opposite was reported last week. The House advances Massachusetts governor's pro-hunting provisions. That'll come from yours truly. We'll get into that after the rest of the headlines. The golf showed the way. The South Atlantic still awaits their chance. Congressional Sportsmen's Foundation has been pushing for the transition to state-led red snapper management in the South Atlantic zone since 2020. And CSF will continue to work with recreational fishing community and state and federal agencies to ensure that happens. A little more on that from Chris Horton. While a federal court injunction has paused the South Atlantic red snapper EFP fishing opportunities designated to collect valuable catch and discard data, the Congressional Sportsmen's Foundation and recreational fishing community are optimistic that the inertia to implement a better management system will eventually lead to meaningful seasons. This happened back on May 21st, only hours before the Florida anglers were set to leave the docks and participate in the historical effort to improve red snapper management. A federal court injunction halted the previously approved South Atlantic red snapper exempted fishing permits. The season would have provided the first large-scale opportunity in decades to collect reliable catch and discard information directly from participating anglers across the region. Instead, boats remain tied to the dock, and a promising step forward, modernizing fisheries management, has been temporarily put on hold. Certainly, when we have it, we'll bring you updates from Chris on that. California Assembly Bill 1912, ensuring archer safety with concealed firearm carry. This bill would allow licensed hunters to carry a firearm capable of being concealed on their person while archery hunting for deer, removing an outdated restriction that currently leaves bow hunters uniquely vulnerable. Kelly Mortensen writes on this. The bill maintains the integrity of the archery only rules by still requiring that any deer harvested be taken with a bow. California Outdoor Sporting Caucus was heavily involved in the drafting and the introduction of this measure. The bill was co-authored by California Outdoor Sporting Caucus co-chair Senator Dave Cortez and introduced by Assembly member Heather Hadwick. The bill would authorize any licensed hunter to carry concealed firearm while archery hunting deer, while explicitly prohibiting the use of that firearm to take deer. Seems reasonable. The change enhances personal safety without compromising the traditional character of archery seasons. Obviously, we here at CSF through Kaylee strongly support AB 1912 in accordance with our longstanding policy in favor of allowing handgun carry while archery hunting. Across the country, 37 states already permit this important safety practice. Bow hunters are at a distinct disadvantage when facing threats from large predators such as mountain lions, bears, or other wildlife or other people, and limiting their ability to defend themselves, putting their lives at risk unnecessarily. The next hearing will be held in the Senate Public Safety Committee on June 30th of this year, with a comment deadline of June 23rd, which by the time this show drops, we will have exceeded that by 1 day. So there you have that in California. Turkey hunters set a record harvest number across much of the Southeast. This information coming to us from Connor Barker and Mark Lance, teamed up on this. After decades of intensive restoration efforts, wild turkey populations have rebounded dramatically across the United States, growing from an estimated 200,000 birds in the early 1900s to more than 6 to 7 million. 7 million seems to be the number now. 6 to 7 million today, and standing as one of North America's greatest wildlife conservation success stories, no doubt. There's a good chance that depending on who you talk to, you will get varying responses as to the state of the wild turkey numbers throughout the Southeast. However, this year yielded several encouraging harvest results that should have turkey hunters at a glass half full perspective rather than a half empty. Kentucky set a staggering harvest record of almost 36,500 birds taken during this year's spring turkey season, putting the Commonwealth nearly 6,000 birds over the 10-year harvest average. Tennessee fell just short of Kentucky with a total spring harvest of almost like 10 birds from 35,000, marking the volunteer state's fourth highest harvest on record. Louisiana notched its highest turkey harvest since mandatory reporting began in 2009, with a total of 4,000 more birds taken during the 2026 season. Mississippi posted an impressive nearly 18,000 wild turkeys harvested during the spring season, the state's highest harvest since mandatory reporting began in 2019. So, yeah, for sure, half full glasses as it concerns wild turkey and their populations. I would invite you to go check out our feature episode with Rob Keck for the Hunt Fish 250 series. We talk about this very thing, the history of the wild turkey and its remarkable comeback from market hunting and almost being extrapolated completely from the landscape. We'll wrap it up with the other headlines here before we get into our lead story. But spring and summer free fishing days conclude in the Great Lakes. This one here coming from Bob Matthews. Free fishing days are offered around the country and in every state of the Great Lake regions, allowing folks to fish without obtaining a license. Reducing barriers to participate can incentivize newcomers or returning anglers to join us on the water. Although license purchased by sportsmen and women are the primary driving conservation funding, CSF recognizes the potential impact that these free fishing days have on growing base of anglers. Looks like there's some additional days upcoming. Well, not anytime soon, but Bob reports on some fall fishing dates that you can take advantage of in Indiana. And then looks like there's some ice fishing days, Michigan, Minnesota, and Wisconsin. Make sure you go to all the articles, as I say every week. Check out the in article links and dates like that. You can put it on your calendar and maybe do some weekend of free ice fishing. Try it out, see how you like it. All right, that's the headlines. Let's get into our lead story. And as I said last week, um, Governor Moore Healy back in March had put on a big display, big public relations media blitz, where she announced her support to rescind the ban on Sunday hunting in Massachusetts. As this audience well knows, we've documented and talked about Massachusetts and Maine being the two states out of 50 with a complete prohibition on Sunday hunting. Well, with the governor's support there, also wanting to include crossbows in the archery season, full inclusion there, and then looking at archery distance setbacks. Right now, they stand at 500 feet from a dwelling. They want to reduce those down to 250. That would open up so many acres, especially east of the 495 belt as you get into Metro Boston, just outside of that, down to the Cape and Islands. A lot of this is being driven by public health issues. And obviously that leads, that stems from a management issue with white-tailed deer and people being able to have access to hunt them and help mass wildlife get close to or start chipping away at their management goals, of which they're way outside their skis on, especially when you look at the per square mile population. So more deer, more ticks that they carry and pick up from that mouse that has all those ninth life stage ticks that are in the duff. The whole tick cycle. If you've never read up on it, just Google it. It's there. Um, Deer not necessarily being the complete villain in this equation. A lot of it stemming from the white-footed mouse there, but the deer or vector carried around drop those ticks, and with that, you have deer ticks with Lyme disease. You have Lone Star tick that has made its way into the Northeast. Obviously, many of us in the community know about alpha gall and Martha's Vineyard. I think 50% of the population is now plagued with alpha gall, and so governor talked about that. This is a big motivator. as well as an economic motivator. The governor recognizes many of those people that can hunt on Sundays go to neighboring states, to include New Hampshire, and the governor would like to see those money stay in state, and I can't blame her. So all that context and history to say that she finally got those provisions put into her budget bill. This was House 5377. Well, going through that process, all of those provisions were stripped out, along with most of the provisions, the riders that didn't have a dollar sign attached to it. So where we saw potential defeat, fast forward to last week when Massachusetts Legislative Sportsmen's Caucus co-chair in the House, David Vieira, uh, resurrected, excuse me, all three of these and got an amendment introduced in another House Ways and Means bill, and was able to get all three provisions, resuscitate them, put them back in, and that passed unanimously. It was a 151 to nothing vote. So the House has advanced this. They've sent it back to the Senate, where there's going to be a conference committee. We're the closest we've ever been. This is better news than we would have hoped for once they were stripped out. We're working with our partners in the Legislative Sportsmen's Caucus in both chambers, working with in-state partners as well, strategizing how can we find a place to put these issues. Are there other vehicles, or can we get them standalone? We know the history in Massachusetts of these standalone bills have been brought so many times before by Representative Vieira himself. Also, past Senator Ann Goby was a great champion of all of these and working to chip away at those. Again, all that to say, those standalone bills were never successful. Were always shot down. You hope with the support of the governor's office, the public health interest, the recognition of revenue going outside of the state, where sportsmen and women are seeking to have adventures on Sundays in Maine, well, not Maine, they're I stand corrected, in New Hampshire, in Vermont, Connecticut, as they've rolled back most of their Sunday hunting. So if they have friends with private land, they can go do that. They go down to Rhode Island. So jump over to New York in Western Mass. So there are opportunities for those folks. Not all of them get to experience that, but now for the working class in Massachusetts, they could potentially double their opportunities to go field. And it's just the audience, you guys well know all the benefits of this. So that's the update. That's where we're at. As soon as we find out uh, next steps, surely there will be a groundswell of support from our community, kind of activating the grassroots population, getting people to do their civic duty, make contact Senate leadership, contact Senate House Ways and Means leadership. And then once we find out who's on that conference committee, reaching directly to them and getting testimony submitted and comments and articulating the importance of these three continuing on. If it comes out of there untouched and that language stays, it's going right to the governor's desk, and that'll be that. And it would be, I don't want to speak uh jinx the thing. I don't really believe in jinxes, but what I'm saying is that we're not very far from that. If we can get it there, it would just be an amazing monumental will win. For now, we'll temper those expectations, take this one step at a time. And as I've written in the articles, the updates for the New England faithful, especially those in Massachusetts, we all remember a certain Super Bowl being down 3-28. Those numbers mean something here in the Northeast, especially New England. It's not over till it's over, is the point. So we're going to run the clock out. We're in the fourth quarter. We're getting down to it. Let's see if we can win this thing in the fourth and not go to an overtime, as referenced in the article. But that's it. That's the update, and that's going to be this week's show. So appreciate you guys for always tuning in. Thank you for sharing this information far and wide, and getting some important information out there. NASC registration is open. Early bird registration is open. So do go to the website, and if you're a legislator, you're planning on coming. If you're a agency partner or someone else that's just coming, get your discount now for the NASC early bird registration. We're going to Oklahoma City. It's going to be a ton of fun. It's going to be a great week. Some outdoor adventures and some local adventures to be had. It's the host committee is doing a bang up job, well ahead of schedule, and just planning a really entertaining, information packed week, and just great opportunity from some for camaraderie, networking, and information sharing. So don't sleep on NASC in Oklahoma City. Join us the first week of December. It's going to be a great time. We're post most of the rut. We're right after Thanksgiving, plenty in advance of Christmas. So I know some people continue to say, well, that's some prime deer hunting. I understand New Hampshire it is too, but we're going to have some cool outdoor activities that hopefully will satisfy the folks coming in. So get up on the website, congressionalsportsman.org, congressionalsportsman.org. Go register for NASC. Go sign up for the EPUB of the Sportsman's Voice. And again, go to all the articles for the in-article links. All those free resources are there for you to become better educated, make more informed decisions about things happening in your state house, happening in your community if you're not a legislator, and inspiring you to work with your legislators to get good policy passed and stop policy that would be a hindrance to your outdoor adventures. As always, we thank you and remind you, CSF is your inside connection to outdoor legislation. We will see you next week. Thanks so long. Thanks for joining us on this edition of the Sportsman's Voice podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, your support is crucial, and you can help us out right now by leaving a review, filling in those 5 stars where available, sharing this episode with friends and family, and engaging with us socially. CSF can be found on Facebook, Instagram, and X, formerly known as Twitter. Together, we can protect the outdoor sports we love and continue to keep you informed wherever you are. That's it for this week. Until next time, we'll see you later.